Today we go over an update for Star Wars Episode 9, the final film of the Skywalker saga when it comes to the character of Leia. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, a couple of days ago, we learned that J.J. Abrams will not only be using unused footage from The Force Awakens of Carrie Fisher in Star Wars Episode 9, but will also be using from Rian Johnson's Star Wars The Last Jedi. Unused footage for The Last Jedi, of course, that would be implemented into the Episode 9 movie itself. Now, a lot of people have been wondering as to exactly how will Leia's unused footage be incorporated into this film. We've been going over this numerous times, such as the two big deleted scenes from The Force Awakens, one of which has all to do with the super weapon that the Resistance has called the Sledgehammer, and the second big scene is the scene in which Maz Kanata hands over the Skywalker lightsaber to Leia. A moment in which Leia is thinking back to her brother Luke, that this was also her father's weapon, Anakin Skywalker's, who was once, of course, Darth Vader as well. So, looking at everything with the Leia footage, we've been hearing a lot of things these past couple of days. Aside from all of that, one of which is that apparently Disney and Lucasfilm plan on essentially rotoscoping Leia out of certain scenes and digitally inserting her into new environments in Episode 9. Now, this is where things get interesting, because if they can do this, we do know that they are actually going to be using new, generation technology, or whatever it's going to be for Episode 9, next generation technology when it comes to CGI and how they incorporate footage and how they manipulate footage, etc. They're doing tons of new things in Episode 9 for this film to go all out. So I can imagine that the possibilities really are endless. But exactly what kind of environment would Leia be thrown into? Now, we've been going over the possibility of Naboo returning in Episode 9 because, well, there have been a lot of location scouts over in Italy in the same exact radius, or the same exact area in which they used for Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, especially the lakeside. They've been looking all over in that area for the next Star Wars film, which is, of course, Episode 9, and this is really raising a lot of questions on whether or not Naboo will be entering into the mix here, because we do know that J.J. Abrams will be implementing tons of prequel trilogy content, and the fact that Leia is going to be cut out and digitally inserted into new environments in Episode 9, I think is very exciting stuff because, well, that means that we could get a number of different things. We could have a moment in which Leia is talking or just looking at a Force ghost Luke Skywalker, or they could insert her into a flashback scene in which we do have a younger Ben Solo and a younger Luke Skywalker, where we do get to see a moment in between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Or should I say, a moment in between The Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, in between those two trilogies. So that's something that I think a lot of fans want to see, for sure. I know I do, because, I've always been wondering as to what really happened between both Ben, Leia, Han on screen. Sure, some books, they go over this briefly here and there. We do know that Ben Solo, ever since he was a little kid, had little moments, little spurts of anger, where they started to recognize that he just needed some training with his uncle Luke Skywalker, and that's when they sent him away. As Leia, explains in The Force Awakens, because, well, apparently, according to Han Solo, there's just too much Vader in him. So, looking at Episode 9 here, the thing that I'm most excited about is exactly how they are going to send off the character of Leia. Is she going to die in this film? Is she going to survive? I feel like that it's a real touchy thing either way, because if she dies, it's kind of like a reminder of her real-life death, where, she passed away just about over 2 years ago. So, looking at everything here, guys, I think that the best way for Leia to, be in Episode 9 is to send her off in a peaceful way, where she gets to live it out of this trilogy, and then after that, we learn more about her life through books or comic books, etc. And if they want to kill her off in books or comics, they can do that off screen. I think that's a better way to go. But how do you guys feel about Leia in Episode 9? Do you think that her death would be a good or a bad thing? Or do you think just sending her off in a peaceful way would be a better way? Kind of like Paul Walker from, what was it, Fast 5? Brian O'Connor, the character of Brian O'Connor, you know, where they split the cars, him and Dom, you know, one car goes one way, the other car goes the other way, and they essentially go their own ways, you know, they choose their own paths. It's a great ending, and I can see something like that in Episode 9, where Leia decides to just do her thing and move on, and the other characters move on and do their own thing. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding on one. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.